Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the SmashFM US Tour update. This will probably be the last one that we'll have a chance to do with Will before he gets on a plane, wings his way back to Australia and gets on with our normal round of events. But we'll hopefully sort of touch base with him after he gets back, just to see how things went in the last couple of days. And so on. We may even be able to squeeze in another session tomorrow, but it'll be one of the last events as well. So hopefully, again, Facebook is going to be kind to us today. The gods of Facebook. We'll see how that one goes. If not, we will upload the file to YouTube and we'll publish it for you there. But let's bring Will in. G'day, Will. How are you going?
Yeah, pretty good. Yourself?
Very well. All of a sudden we're struggling to hear you. I don't know why, but let us. So, are you there, Will?
Yes, I am here.
Well, that's really interesting because a second ago when we're getting ready, everything was fine, but all of a sudden your volume is really poor. Oh, hello, there you go. What have you done?
I have no idea.
Turn the volume up and suddenly it's working again. So well done. So today was a quiet day for you. You were off in sports-free zone today. You decided that you would go out and just wander and see a bit of the sights of New York.
I have, of course, went to Central Park, and of course I did pretty much most of Central Park before the cold got to me. The weather and so it was a pretty actually it was a pretty long walk, I must admit. So about 2-3 hours outside. So on the cold day. So yeah, it was pretty good. So and obviously the snow hasn't quite gone away hasn't really melted. So so there was a fair bit of snow and and obviously being a Sunday, most of the things at Central Park was actually closed, so I think I chose a pretty bad day to go. But other than that, it was pretty good time just to walk and just finally relax a little bit.
That's good. So Will, also off air, he mentioned that he was struggling to find ways to keep his face warm. So if you are an experienced traveller and you're used to the cold in the Northern Hemisphere, what we'd like you to do is on the Facebook page suggest a few techniques that Will could use to actually protect himself against the cold. I did suggest mummifying himself and wrapping himself in scarves, but that didn't seem to go down very well. So a bit cold out there, Will.
Yes, it certainly is. And obviously I'm here for like 2-3 more days. So anything short-term ideas, that would be much appreciated. But before, of course, I'm here for tomorrow or Tuesday, leaving on Wednesday here, Wednesday mid-afternoon to go to LA, and then LA with the connecting flight straight to Sydney before heading home from Sydney to Melbourne. So so it's going to be a pretty hectic couple of weeks, hectic couple of days, I should say, before I head home.
Yep, and so on the agenda is another game at the Nets. That's tomorrow.
Yes, this time against the Toronto Raptors at the Barclays Centre. So it should be a good game. And Toronto currently second in the Eastern Conference. And Brooklyn, well, the way they played against the Boston Celtics and especially the Minnesota Timberwolves, they should have a pretty good chance of beating the Raptors this time around. There at the Barclays Centre. Should be a packed crowd as always there at the Barclay.
Cool. So yesterday we did a bit of a rundown on the Australian players playing in college, in particular the Div 1 men. We're going to do a bit of a rundown now on the girls, but we're not going to go through all of the girls simply because of the sheer number. There are 69 girls that are listed in just in the Div 1 teams in the NCAA competition this season. That's a record, isn't it, Will?
It is. It's definitely a record. So Div 1 only. So it is obviously there's other girls in other divisions, but yes, it is a record for Division 1 side of things. 69 of them, and about 5 or 6 of those are actually out injured, or so it's going to be a really interesting season. And of course, I think 2 or 3 of those have returned home for family reasons, but they will be returning back to those teams next season.
Yeah, and to put it in context, it was only 2 or 3 years ago that there were just on 40 players, girls that had gone across. So this is now being seen as a really legitimate way to progress not only your education but also your basketball career for the girls. The difficult, of course, is the playing spots after college. The restriction is that there are only 8 WNBL teams. I think that's right, 7 or 8. Yeah.
Yep.
8. With limited spots available to those. And that means that generally the girls, if they're going to continue on here in Australia, are slotting into both the various state leagues or the CBL competition as well. But even there, the actual numbers are fairly restricted. So So because of the sheer numbers of girls, what we've decided to do is we'll break this up over a couple of days. And today, what we'll do is we'll concentrate just simply on the seniors. Can you just explain the naming of the year levels at college to us there, Will?
Yeah, absolutely. So how the college system works, it's a 4 or 5 year terms sort of thing, so they can play basketball, in particular here in the US. Of course, the first year is the freshman, being the first year. The second year is the sophomore. The third year is a junior, and of course the final year, the 4th year, is a senior. Very similar to the way we do it in back home, but also we don't use those terms for our years. But as I said, I'll just recap again. Freshman is the first year, sophomore is the second year, third year is a junior, and the 4th year and final year would be a senior. Of course, they can elect to use a 5th year, they choose to. And that 5th year can be for a variety of things. Could be an injury, like season-ending injury, which rules them out, which they can take that up obviously it can happen at any time throughout their college one. Of course, they can only use it once, which is called a red shirt, or family reasons that can also be called, that can be done as a red shirt as well, which is an exemption. And also, if they decide to take another year to do their studies at the end of their senior year, they can definitely do that as well. So 4 or 5 years, they can be in college here.
So we're going to concentrate on those who are finishing off their college career at this point in time. That's what we're looking at the moment. So, and there's quite a number of girls, a couple of pages worth in actual fact. So, so let's start off. With Steph Collins from Victoria. So some of these girls come from all around Australia. There's quite a sprinkling of Victorian players in there. Steph Collins is playing down at Southern Methodist. She's Yep, she's averaging she's averaging 17 minutes and shooting at 50% with a rebound average of 4.3. So she's having a reasonably good season. 17 minutes for a senior is probably a little under what you'd expect to do, because the way the college system works, typically as a freshman coming in, you'd not expect, unless you are a superstar, you'd not expect to pick up big minutes. And generally, it's by the time they work their way through to the fourth year, their senior year. That's when they're picking up extended minutes along the way. So, what do you know about young Steph Collins?
Of course, she is from the Melbourne Tigers. Of course, she actually was a development player for the Bulleen Boomers in the WNBL as well before she went across to SMU, which is in Dallas. So she's had a reasonable year, but with that team, they're stacked full of most seniors in that team. So so that's probably the reason why the time side of things have gone a little, slightly a little, shorter than what would you normally get from a singer side of things. So, but yeah, she's having a reasonable year at the moment.
So Alex Delaney from New South Wales, she's a forward. She's at St Francis Brooklyn and playing in the Northeast Conference. She's averaging, and this is the sort of numbers that you'd be expecting to see from most of the seniors around the place. She's averaging about 29.5, just under 30 minutes a game out of the 40. Now, that's also been an interesting thing that the women's side of the conference about 2 years ago decided to adopt the FIBA rules, or the FIBA timings, I should say. So they actually only run the same as we do here in Australia. They run the 10-minute quarters as opposed to halves. That's still the case. I believe that's still the case in the boys' conference. The boys
correct.
Side.
That is correct. But the shot clock is still the same at 35.
Yeah. So she's shooting at not a particularly good rate. She's only shooting at about 10, averaging, I should say, 10 points a game. And she's got a rebound average of 4.2 rebounds. So as a forward, she's doing okay. She's doing okay. Jessie Edwards. Yep. Jessie Edwards from Western Australia. Go ahead.
Yeah, correct. Just going back to Alice, of course, she has two of her Australian teammates in that team, and she's actually started her because she's actually part of the starting lineup for the last couple of games. So, because Brooklyn here in New York, that is St. Francis Brooklyn. Having a great year for Alex, and especially it does help when you have three other Australian players in the same team, or two other Australians in the same team.
Yeah. Jessie Edwards from I've lost it now. Western Australia. She's down at Minnesota. Now she's a centre, and again averaging a reasonably good minutes, just under 17 minutes with a shooting scoring average of about 4.4 and rebound average of 5.6. So. She's racking up reasonable minutes again. Down at Southern Methodist, Elise Froling. Now this is an interesting story, isn't it? Because the Froling sisters actually came over. The twins came over together. Her sister pulled the pin after the first year, and has been playing back in the WNBL with Canberra.
Correct.
So, but Alicia continued on, and last year had an absolute blinder. What's happened to her this year, Will?
I believe she is having a red shirt year. I think might be due to an injury, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think she's got an injury at the moment.
The quote that I saw was season-ending injury, so she is out for the season, unfortunately.
Which means she can actually use her red shirt. So this is now counts a red shirt year for her. So which means she can still be a senior again, but it'll be called a red shirt senior year next year.
So, from Queensland, Jessica Gowajeski, she's a guard. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to start coming across a few guards. That's been one of the interesting things too, is that in this particular senior year, there's actually quite a lot of forwards and centres. Typically, a lot of the girls that go across to the States tend to be seen as guards once they get there. But this particular cohort, there were a lot of taller players that got there. So anyway, Jessica's down at Grand Canyon, which we were talking about them yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah, we did. We certainly did.
And she's one of the seniors that is picking up significant minutes. She's picking up 31 minutes per game, shooting at a good clip of 44%, and picking up 2 rebounds. So as a guard, that's quite a reasonable effort as well.
And she's actually been part of the starting lineup in the past couple of games, including a big win for Grand Canyon yesterday.
Rebecca Hatchard from South Australia is down at Montana State. She's also another guard. Again, averaging reasonable minutes, just over 20 minutes a game, shooting at a good clip, for, just under 50%, and picking up just under 3 rebounds a game itself. You across Rebecca's stats at all?
Yes, I am. So she's actually currently coming off the bench at the moment there at Montana State. Her team's doing pretty well at this stage as well. They're in the Big Sky competition. It's actually a pretty tough competition, the Big Sky. So there's a couple of Australian players playing in the Big Sky in the West Coast. So she's doing pretty well over there. I think she was named Player of the Month. I think it would have been about a month, 2 months ago. I can't exactly remember, but I know she has been awarded Player of the Month before.
And perhaps the smallest player in the Aussie lineup, senior lineup, is Grace Lennox from Tasmania, standing at 5 foot 4 inches tall. She's also getting perhaps the highest number of minutes, averaging 37.2. So she's really playing just virtually all the game. So again, her shooting percentage is quite good at 33, and again, the smallest girl on the court picking up just on 4 rebounds a game as well.
One of their key players for Eastern Illinois. And especially she's also in the starting lineup for the Eastern Illinois team. So great to see her doing really well, especially one of the key players in their starting lineup, especially in the defense side of things. She's been doing a fantastic job for Eastern Illinois team.
Yep, Samantha Lubke from South Australia. She's listed with Utah Valley, but she's one of those players who have dropped off the stat sheet. So either injured or back home on compassionate grounds. Not quite certain exactly what's happened to her. Have you heard any stories on her at all?
Nope.
And the young lady that we know quite well from here in Victoria, Geraldine McCorkle, over at Idaho, she's set the world alight in her team. She's been one of the key players for the last 3 years, and she's not slowing down at all. Averaging about 30 minutes, she's shooting just on 50% and averaging 15 goals per game, as well as just over 6 rebounds a game itself. So she's one that you've had quite a bit to do with over the years as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I certainly have. The Idaho Vandals are in the Big Sky Conference. So I'm actually going to hopefully have a chance to speak to her in the next couple of weeks on the Smash Sport Show. In the next couple of weeks, either while I'm still here or when I'm down back in Melbourne, to have a chat with her there. And of course, that is actually the same school that Renee Mocky went to. Of course, in the Waverley State Champ women's team. She was over Idaho for the full 4 seasons. They're at the Vandals and one of the best schools over in the West Coast at the moment.
Yeah, she certainly is. And Mackenzie from Washington State. Now she's also been one that's dropped off the stat sheets. She doesn't seem to have logged any time this year, so I believe it's another injury.
Correct. Yep. Red shirt the year for her, so she'll be back next season. I got told they're from Washington.
Steph Reed from Buffalo. She's another Victorian player. Mm-hmm. She's also a guard. She's averaging 29 minutes, shooting at 42%, 9.3 average there, and a 3.5 rebounds per game as well. So she's looking like she's having a pretty good season as we go.
Yeah, starting lineup for Steph Reed. Of course, she's from Frankston down in Melbourne. So yeah, she's been one of the key players. I think she's the shooting guard at the moment. They're at Buffalo, and having a fantastic season so far, and looking forward to hopefully seeing her back in Victoria. Hopefully playing for one of the teams down here in Melbourne. But I won't talk too much about the team. Because there's about 3 other Australian players, 2 more seniors, which we'll go through that in just a moment. Yeah.
Steph Reed. Not Steph Reed. Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith from South Australia. She's just simply logged 2 games so far at the moment. She's down at Cal State Northbridge. So again, one of those players that you suggested may have come home for family reasons. No?
No, she's not one of them. I've actually had a chat to Jordan. So when I last spoke to her, she actually come off an injury. Right. She's now back in the lineup. So she's starting to come back into the lineup rotations there at Cal State.
That's good. So again, a 6'3" forward. So one of those big players that we would like to see back in action along the way as well. Ashley Taia from Queensland. She's down at Indiana State. She's again good, solid player. She's averaging 25 minutes a game, shooting at a good clip of 50%, and a shooting average of just under 11 points per game with 3 rebounds.
Yes, she's actually returned home to Brisbane for family reasons. So I'm not sure she's actually going to be returning back to Indiana State. But so she left, I think, in December. Because I know I was trying to contact her for an interview before I came over here.
Jasmine Trinboli, also from South Australia, is down at South Dakota. She's another guard. 24 minutes per game on average. Good shooting clip, 52%, 9.3 points per game, which is quite reasonable. If you extrapolate that over a full game, if she was to play another 10 minutes per game, she'd be looking at an average of 15 to 18 points. So that's a reasonable go. And again, for a guard, a lot of rebounds. She's averaging 5.6 rebounds a game as well.
And of course, we actually saw South Dakota play in Melbourne involving Jasmine. I think it was last season, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
The season before, they were down against McKinnon.
That's right.
So we actually saw Jasmine in action.
Yeah, and that game was live streamed.
Correct.
Excellent game. Carly Turner down at St Mary's. Now, St Mary's has a huge Australian contingent, not just in the boys but also in the girls. Carly Turner, the only senior there at the moment. Tell us about her.
I'm not too sure what's happened with Carly down at St Mary's. I actually don't know if she's actually returned back to St Mary's from, of course, I know she was at Diamond Valley during the off-season. I'm not too sure, so don't quote me exactly what's happened. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, so again, she's one that has dropped off the list. She's listed on their roster, but hasn't logged any game time along the way. So, be interesting to see what happens. She was one of the up and comers, and we expected to see a lot of from her over the season. But we'll try and see what we can find out along the way. Now down at Buffalo, we were coming back to them with the two other players, the Ups sisters, Lisa and Catherine.
Correct. Yes. From Wollongong.
Yep. So Lisa is struggling to get on the court at the moment. She's only logging about 8 minutes per game. They're both guards. They're twins, from what I understand.
Correct.
And
yes,
she's
that is correct.
Unfortunately, she's in that time she's shooting at a very lowly 20% and averaging 0.8 baskets a game and 1.7 rebounds. Her sister, on the other hand, is seemingly having quite a good season with 24 minutes average, shooting at 36% and scoring an average of 8.5 baskets per game and picking up 4.5 rebounds. So she's obviously having a much better season than her sister along the way. So you were going to not talk about the team. It's now your cue. Let's talk a little bit about Buffalo.
Yeah, so Buffalo's having a fantastic season at the moment. Obviously, we mentioned about Steph Reid, and especially one of the Up sisters doing pretty well so far. Of course, Courtney Wilkins is also over there. Because she's actually logged a couple of minutes herself, actually. Even though she's actually not a senior, she's actually a junior at the moment. But the Buffalo team doing a fantastic job in the Mid-American Conference, and expect them to be making playoffs. Currently second in the Mid-American Conference at this stage.
And finally, Christy Wallace, I should say, down at Baylor. She's from Queensland. Absolutely. She's a 5'11" guard, so quite a tall guard for the women's competition. She's averaging 27 minutes, shooting at 52% and picking up about 10.5 baskets per game, but also one of the highest rebounding players as well, on 4.5 rebounds per game as well. So you've been following her quite closely, I understand.
Yes, I definitely have. What a superstar she has been. It's been her second year in the starting lineup for the Baylor Bears, because the defending champions at the moment, they're actually seeded at the moment, the Baylor Bears. They're in the top 25. Actually, I think they're actually not. I think they're in the top 15 at the moment in the country, the Baylor Bears. They're currently playing in the Big 12, which is the most... the best conference in America at the moment. Quite a very competitive competition, highly rated competition amongst all the conferences here in America. And she's done a fantastic job so far. And if I was a WNBL team, I'll be trying to get her to come to a WNBL team quick, fast when she finishes college, because she is going to be a superstar down here in Australia so far. And she's actually might be in a running for a league MVP as well, unless her teammates don't take that off her. So yeah, she's had a fantastic season at this stage for the Baylor Bears, which most likely they'll go back to back in the Big 12 conference.
Yeah, so that would be an outstanding effort if she does that. She would be one of the few Australian women to have won consecutive championships like that. So
correct. Yes.
So and you're right. I'd expect the offers to be coming in, but not just for from Australian clubs. I'd be expecting there could be a few European offers as well, and perhaps even a draft opportunity into the WNBA as well. So
correct. Yeah, she's very highly recognised player over in the US. So. And of course, she's actually from a school that's actually done very well themselves over in Queensland, John Paul College. Obviously, we've got actually one of those John Paul College students in our WNBL team, actually, the Deakin Melbourne Boomers, Kalani Purcell. And Christy is also from that school as well. Which, she was actually, her and Kalani also both part of John Paul College's national championship teams in the past couple of seasons before they came across to and played in the college system. So that school just keeps on rolling some amazing college basketball players.
That's absolutely right. All right. Well, that's our rundown of the Div 1 Women's Seniors year group at the moment. Next time we'll have a look at the juniors and work our way progressively through the other year levels as well. And that's it for today. We apologise again if Facebook has been misbehaving. I've noticed that the stream has dropped a couple of times. We've still got to work out why that is happening, but we'll try and do that before the next session. So hopefully tomorrow we should be able to catch up with you again, Will.
That's right. Yep. And of course, and just let everyone know, of course, from the last update we had yesterday, the McKinnon girls have arrived here in New York City about a couple of hours ago.
Yes, after delays along the way, and our friends at Southeast Eagles were letting them know that it was rather cold in New York, so rug up.
Correct. Oh yes.
So we want to do that. So a big shout out to Nathan and Xavier from the Southeast Eagles. We expect to see you.
And also Southern Peninsula. Yeah, and also the Southern Peninsula have gone to San Francisco in California, and they arrived there today as well.
Which is probably a bit warmer. So we look forward to seeing all of the different players back for the upcoming second game in the WNBL Grand Final Series. Again, reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that for the second game, the Boomers versus Townsville Fire game, tickets go on sale tomorrow morning. If you are a member of the club, check your emails or check the Facebook page for pre-sale tickets available to members as well. And of course you'll need to do that by contacting the club through lj.melbourneboomers@gmail.com. So you can get on board there. Other than that, Will, we will see you tomorrow. Best of luck in the cold, and let's see if anybody has in fact got some suggestions for you how you can keep yourself warm in the bitter cold of New York. As we struggle with, you'll notice here, it's not the image, just the image in the background there. You'll notice that it's cold enough here in Melbourne, Australia at the moment that I'm actually wearing a jumper. So figure that. Figure that. A couple of days ago, it was 42 degrees. and now it is long pants and jumper weather. But anyway, see you tomorrow.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.